Let's talk about Falcon and Winter Soldier. Episode 3 came out last night. Watched it last night after the live stream on Twitch, and I enjoyed it. This was getting pretty good. They got Zemo involved. They broke him out of prison, and as I mentioned in the previous episode where they talked about the power broker many times. So he is in the background. I don't know if we'll ever see him necessarily. But he is the one financing all this stuff, as we said. I said that in the last video. So they did mention him several times. He's the one financing everything. He's in the background as I thought he would be. But again, I don't know if he's going to be brought out as the main villain where they need to take him down, or if they just need to take down the Flag Smashers. So they're still obviously the center stage here. So they break out Zemo, and they go find the guy who actually is the only scientists in history, other than the original, to recreate the super soldier serum. They find this guy in this old town that used to be an old pirate town, as they explained. And they go undercover, Sam and Bucky. So they're working together now. And on the other side, you have Captain America, the new Captain America, a temporary Captain America, let me say, John Walker and his buddy on the other side of things. And they're now almost at odds with each other, so you can see where this is going. Like I said before, John Walker wants to fulfill this role that he was chosen for, and he's trying to do the right thing, but he's not going to do it the way Steve Rogers. He's not going to. They broke a guy out of prison, and he would do the same thing. And he finds out that that's probably what they did. They broke Zemo out of prison. So again, if you don't remember, Zemo is the guy from Civil War who basically caused this whole Civil War thing between Stark and Captain America, and then he killed all the rest of the Winter Soldiers. So he's not a fan of super soldiers or superheroes in general. So they break him out of prison, and they work with him to find the information they need to get to the power broker, yada, yada, yada. And they find this guy who recreated the serum, and he actually mentions Isaiah, not by name. We talked about Isaiah a couple videos ago, so go check that out on a detailed video, about 10 minutes long or so, on who Isaiah is. Explain that. He is the original, or one of the original super soldiers from the 40s, who actually went after Bucky at one time when he was still the Winter Soldier. And so there's a whole video on who Isaiah is, but he references Isaiah in his story about how they took blood from him, and this guy was able to, or got the blood from him, because this guy's young. Isaiah is now aged. And he was able to isolate the compounds or whatever and recreate the super soldier serum. And there's about 20, apparently, vials of this. And now we know that the Flag Smashers, I'm guessing, have about 8 or 10 people, other than the guy who was killed in one episode. So they find him, and Zemo caps him. He's like, look, he didn't say this. I was thinking, I'm like, yeah, this dude's going to die because he knows the secret. He knows the serum, so he's going to cap him and destroy his little lair. And on top of that, what's cool in this episode is they meet up with Sharon Carter. If you remember Sharon Carter, she was the lady, she's a former SHIELD operative, SHIELD agent, field agent, whatever. So if you remember the scene from Civil War, the scene where Bucky and Falcon were in the car with Captain America, and he gets out and she gets the shield for him, and they kiss or whatever, because there's a spark there. There's a spark there. And then she had to go on the run with everybody else after the Sokovia Accords. And apparently she still is. So she gets involved. And Sam basically says, look, help us out, find this information. We have to stop these super soldiers and find out where the serum is, where it's coming from, all that kind of stuff, and I will clear your name. Because she still has, basically, her reputation is ruined in the United States, so she's been hiding out. They have to go undercover. I thought that was pretty cool. Bucky has to play the Winter Soldier like he's still under control of Zemo. And the other cool thing, the very cool thing at the end, was a really cool cliffhanger, was that Bucky notices these little things, and you can tell they're like little tech balls. We'll call them tech balls. I couldn't quite see what they were. And he followed them, and we see a Wakandan there in the alleyway. And remember, Zemo is the guy who planted the bomb and killed King T'Challa's father, back in Civil War. So this is going to be Wakanda's revenge on Zemo. So at the end of this thing, I'm assuming that Bucky obviously stayed in Wakanda for some time. He said specifically that's the only time he had some peace, when he was there. They named him the White Wolf, etc. And she's there for Zemo's ass, and she's going to get it. So Wakanda will have him, I bet you, when this show ends, because they did say he'll go back to prison, all that stuff, but I'm willing to bet now that Bucky and Sam will do the right thing and turn him over to the Wakandans so they can have their way with him and do what they want. he certainly deserves it. He's an asshole, but he's kind of a needed asshole for now while they find out what's going on with the power broker and the serum and all that good stuff and the flag smasher. So anyway, really good episode. It's getting this was a better episode I thought than the last couple as they got in deeper. I enjoyed Sharon Carter showing up. She's a badass. I enjoyed the Kingsguard Wakandan at the end there. That was really cool. They really just tie everything together. That's what's great about Marvel. There's no loose ends. I mean, it's hard to find a plot hole or a loose end or something they can't put a bow on. Nice and neat as far as these shows. Anyway, really good episode. Check it out on Disney Plus if you haven't already. If you're watching this, you're already spoiled. But I'm really enjoying the dynamic between Sam and Bucky. And what I really enjoyed too as well with this episode is near the end, Bucky's realizing, or I should say Sam is realizing that what Bucky said was probably right. Steve chose him for a reason, and he's thinking, maybe I made a mistake. He actually says that on the plane, on Zemo's plane. I think I made a mistake. And Bucky even says something to the effect of, I think we should go rip that shield out of his hands together, and if you don't want it, then I'll take it or something. We will see Sam take up the official mantle of Captain America at the end of this show. And we only have 3 episodes left. We're already in episode 3. This is only going to be a 6-episode series. Anyway, really good.